Hey everyone, it's James. Today I wanted to mention a thought that's been running through my mind, which is uh, we're living in an interesting time today, aren't we? In which the country as a whole and even the world as such is struggling for a lack of an understanding, a coherent, united worldview. We're bunched up into little worldviews and camps, and a consensus that used to exist is disintegrating. And really, I think what's interesting in today's age is that a lot of the old understandings of what used to be considered true and important and valuable have been erased and displaced. And not only is that part of what's behind the erosion of the consensus that we had as a culture 100 years ago, right? But it's also important in that the values and the views we've lost, and I think are important, uh, help people live, and they've helped the past generations get through life and understand the world around them. And when we lose those things, we deprive ourselves of important, valuable assets that help us live and be successful at life. And we have people in politics, radical groups on the left, on the right. We have various cultural and social movements, pressures, and all kinds of um, activist groups that are trying to nudge the culture in this way and that way and fragment and fracture the culture, themselves having fractured from some other prior worldview and belief system. There's a bit of a fracture phenomenon going on. And I think it comes down to the fact that when these values have been lost, people have stopped believing that there exist answers out there. Um, you know, what is truth? Does truth exist? Is truth accessible at all anymore? What is law? What are our rights? Natural rights? Does natural law exist? These kind of heady topics are important in that they affect our day to day. For example, justice. What kinds of justice are there? Is justice something you do to repair somebody, or is it something you do to punish someone? Things like that. I mean, that impacts our justice system tremendously. What our answer to that is. And so when you look at these questions, justice, rights, law, um, logic, does logic exist, right? A lot of people are saying logic is itself a problem. Can you say that? Can you actually make an argument that logic is bad, and not good for you to use and to think about and to think with? Um, so when you think about these things and how they've frayed in importance uh, in the modern day, that's part of why I believe we have a division into camps, and the camps themselves are looking terrible, and no one camp of no one perspective seems to be compelling. I think because we've lost that cohesive worldview. So what I'd like to do, and this is something that I've studied um, at length for the past 10, 15 years, I thought it might be interesting for me to weigh in on some of those things from time to time, and try to argue and try to present a perspective, and see what perhaps the the centuries gone by, the generations have gone by, have said and would like to say to us, um, living today. So that might be an interesting thing to discuss, and I'd like to see your comments in the future episodes as I begin to hash these things out and ask the questions and start to look at what the answers might be. So stay tuned. Thank you for this is no longer my 180. This is my 200. But stay tuned, and thank you for watching.